Okay guys, so I've prepared what I'm using at that point. This is just it. So like I said, you can just use the fabric like that. You don't need to put anything. So we're just going to put this in here and stitch. So it just gives it that finishing. So that's all. We'll just stitch it around like this. And then we'll put this in between here and then we'll stitch. Okay? So I'm going to do all that and then come back and show you. So like I had said that you should apply gum, you know, here to put this part down. So that's what I'm actually doing. So I want to do that and keep it while I go to the sewing machine. So by the time I get back, I'll just stick it down. When you do this, you can actually use, on this leather part, you can actually use your hammer and just hit it a bit to soften it when you put it down. But your mallet is better, but obviously I think my mallet, my brother took it to go and do a job, so obviously that mallet I can't even find it, so I'll use my hammer. So if you're using your hammer, you place it on your board and then just do a soft hammering. So when I put that down, I will show you. All right. Okay, so before I show you the next step, we're going to gum down the leather part. So this is the part I said you get your, I'll bring the top you use to keep it. No, you're supposed to use your mallet. Just give it that light hammering to keep it in place. Okay. So to just give you that, this part will be flatter. If it was a mallet, I will probably do it on this side, because the mallet is more gentle on the leather, unlike the hammer. Okay, so this is the second part. Remember, I had applied gum already, so same thing, just hammer it down gently. Like I said, please, if you really want to be doing this, get your mallet. The mallet works better. Okay, so that's it. It gives us that smooth part. Okay, so that will stay. Let's finish up with the lining piece. Okay, so the parts for the zip, this is it. All right, so this is it. I've been able to fix it. So that is it. So that is our zip. All right. So that's just it. And then now I'm going to fit this into the lining piece. Okay, so like I said, I have done this now. That's the zip part. I've also done this. So like I had told you, I sewed round it like this. So I made mine round, so I can actually cut it a bit off. I don't want that bulk. So I'll shape it just the way. Please lift it up so that you're not cutting any other thing. So that's, if you want to also shape this a bit, you can, but it doesn't really matter. I'll leave it like that. And I'm just showing you that you can probably shape it a bit, alright? So that's just it. So if I open here, you can actually put your hand on the inside. So now we need to now put our facing, remember. Okay, so the facing is the same thing as this. I want to take off the pin now. Okay, so this the right side, hopefully. Like I said, this thing doesn't, for me, I think it doesn't have front, it doesn't have back. All right, so if I have this now is going to stay here. Now look at it and know that this is where your zip part stays, so it's going to be staying like this. So once you know that, you know the part, so that you don't flip it and put it this way, it's going to stay this way. So see, the zip end is staying here. Eventually, like I said, you're the designer, so you can design it anyhow you want it to be. So you place it here. Now, before you place it, you can as well fold it. I like everything being centralized, right? So you can fold it and just give it a light touch. Do same for the other side. So when you're fixing it, you're not having it, you don't have to do it like a second time, okay? So just give it a touch. Take this as well and find the center point. All of it is just so that we are putting everything equally, all right? So I'll also notch. All right. Here too, I'll also find my center point, and I'll also notch. Now whatever we're doing here, you're going to do it to the other side of the lining as well. So having done this, I can now place this notch mark on this, so it's centralized. Then I will see what I'm doing. I'm carrying this, I'm folding it over right side to right side, and I'm placing notch mark on the notch mark. Okay, now this is fabric, so I can pin, or you can still use your clip, whichever one you want. So I've pinned. So align it properly. You're going to, so remember, all of it we kept half of an inch. Pin, and then on this part also, so now that we have pinned, you're going to sew at half of an inch at this point. So by the time you're done sewing, when you flip this over, you're going to have your full back. So we're going to do the same thing to this lining piece. You also find the midpoint, notch, okay? Take this part as well. Find the midpoint and notch, okay? So when you're putting this, please note, it's going to stay this way. Have you seen? This is where the zip, this is, so right side to right side. Do you get me? So that this one as well is going to be staying like this, and this part is going to be in between this. Just the same thing that you've done here. So this part is going to be in between this and this. So we'll flip this over as well and sew. So please, what you have done here, do same to this side of the lining. So I'm going to go stitch at half of an inch, and I'll come back and show you. So maybe before I do that, let me just put this so it doesn't get you confused. All right, so this right side, this side also, remember I had notched, so I'll just place it at the notch part of the other one, okay? And I'll take this also, fold over and place it, and I'll pin it. So it's the same thing. Then go to the machine and then we'll sew it. Okay guys, so where is my, okay, now I want to create the design for the bag handle, you know, because we need to put it there. So first I'm going to do that with a pencil before I start. So first of all, I'm going to have 4 of it, because you're going to have 2, you know, like, and then another 2. So that's going to be 4. Okay, so first of all, I'll try to get my straight lines. I just want this so that when I start doing what I want, I know I'm just working on a straight line. So now you need to determine what is going where. Like I had showed you my strap earlier with that belt. I'm going to create a strap with that belt, and the belt is coming to the bigger side, meaning that this the attachment that is going to my bag is going to come on this. So you need to have a measurement of what is going to get inside this, right? Meaning that when I am designing this strap that I'm going to put, I have to be sure of what will pass here, and I think very well 3/4 will pass. So always look at your ring that you want to use. Okay, so now what I want to have is going to be maybe about 2 inches long. It depends on, you know, you can take anything, please. There's no rule that it has to be this, because you're going to design it. So I may actually increase it, like I said, 2 inches long. And how wide do I want it to be? It's going to be about 2 inches wide, but the top part will not be 2 inches wide, because we have to reduce it. Or I think let me do 1.5. 1.5 is fine, so it's not too big. But the top part is not going to be the same. Okay, so first what I'm trying to do is create a shape. Okay, so now I have created this part is actually going to be on fold, because this is the part that is going to come, you know, onto this. Or I can make this part unfold, so that I'd rather use this part, you know, I can extend it this way, because I'm going to extend it. So let's say this part is on fold. So if this part is a folded part, this is the down part, we need to create, I'm going to create a design that this part is going to fit into this ring. And I said we're using 3/4. Now if this ring is 1/4, sorry, 1.5, what's the midpoint? I need to find the midpoints for it first of all. Okay, so the midpoint is about 0.75, thereabout. Let me not guess, please. Let's take, so I've divided that into 2 and we're having 3/4, that's 0.75. okay, so I'll mark it. Now from that marking I did, I'm going to share my 3/4 into 2 sides. So now we need to know, if you're dividing 3/4, sorry, I'm trying to use a tape I can create a division out of. So I have 3/4 and I'm trying to divide it into 2. So what do I have? I have like 3 bars. I have like 3 bars to one side. Okay, so that means I'm having, so this is it. So I'm having 3 bars to the other side, and then 3 bars to this side. So I'm going to mark what I have. So like I said, all what I'm doing is trying to centralize what will pass. Even 1 inch should also pass here perfectly well. So I can as well use 1 inch. So I can take half and half. So if I'm using 1 inch, I can take this side to be half, and I can take this side to be half. Okay, so now I need to shape it. Here you can decide, I can have a square like this, I don't know, depends on whatever shape you want to give your strap. You can actually make it something like this. Please, just design something, you know. So maybe let me just, I'll make it a straight line. It's a class, let's not go through. Watch videos and try to create a design. So I'll take a measurement down from here, I'll mark 1 inch. From here, I'll mark 1 inch. So I'm going to slant, just draw a slant line from that top to the 1 inch. Same thing on this side. But please, when you're doing yours, learn to create designs with it. So this is how my strap is going to look like. This is going to be on fold, and this is going to stay on the bag. So like I said, you can make it round, you can make it anything. So I'm going to just cut this and show you what I mean. Now when you're cutting, please extend this line up. Okay, so we are going to cut all of this out like that. All right, so let's cut everything off straight. Just follow that line all the way. So have you seen that? So I have this. Now I'm going to, I have said this is on fold. So I'm going to fold over this. Remember, I haven't cut off this part yet. I just did a straight thing. So I'm going to fold this over. Alright. So once I fold this over, I can now shape this out. So I can now take that part out. And I can take this part out. And whatever is not equal or whatever, I can just align it properly. Okay? So once you do that, cut off this part at the same point. So we have our strap. This is what you're going to have. That's what we're just trying to create. Now, we need to be sure that this can fit into that. Alright? So you can fold this a bit and put it here. That place that we reduce must stay, and see, it has stayed perfectly well. This part here, we are going to stitch it onto our bag. So now we have a sample, a pattern for our strap, right? So we are going to use this pattern to cut out our strap. Now, because we need a base for it to stay, I'm going to cut out this on these papers. I'll take these papers and cut out 4 of it. So I'll use it to, you can use this, you can also use taffeta if you don't want something very hard. But for me, I think I like this, so I'll just fold my fabric over it. So if you don't want that, use your taffeta, but I'm going to use this. Okay, so I'll cut all of this out and I'll show you. Okay guys, so I've been able to cut the 4 that I want to use. So now I am going to use, I'm actually going to be using the leather to create it. Alright. So if I'm going to use the leather to create it, I'm going to paste it on it. Okay. So maybe just to help me put in my, now you're going to be leaving allowances of maybe just 1/4 of an inch or something, but to help me do that, I'm going to draw out all of it. It's just so that it will help me apply my gum. You can also use it like that without having this inside. You can actually use, since you're working with leather and it depends on how thick it is, you can actually use it that same way. So please, when you're doing this, take into consideration the allowances beside them. So I may likely use it, because I just decided to use leather. If I was using Ankara, then I'll have to put this inside. But if I'm not using Ankara, I won't really need this. Okay. So just keep looking for your spaces. Make sure there's space up and down. It's important that you're going to fold over. Oh my god, my styling machine should be alright. Okay, so here as well, I've kept spaces. I keep keeping spaces because I need like at least 1/4 of an inch space. I need a bit up here to fold over, because I need to fold over to neaten the edge. Okay, so I have, if I was going to use Ankara, like I said, I'll put gum and turn it over. But if I look at this and it's hard, then I won't need to do that. So before I do anything here, I'm going to apply my gum. That was the essence of doing all that, because I need to fold it, like neaten the edge of it. Okay, so I'm going to apply my gum to the point that at least I want to cut off, so like at least 1/4 of an inch anyway is fine. Okay, so please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do so. and encourage me more. Okay, so if it looks funny, just spread. You can actually put this and spread also. It doesn't have to, but because I'm using this small mouth thing, you know, so it's easier. If not, I can just put this way. Okay, that one is a lot of work. I just want to show you. So when you put your gum, you now use your spreader and like spread it out. Okay, so there are a lot of ways to this, so don't think because I just did the gum like that, that's just it. So this just helps you spread it and you're not having too much on the leather as well. Okay, so I've been able to use it and spread it out. So you can also follow this method. So where you think it hasn't gotten to your satisfaction, you can re-put. So like I always say, too much gum also can affect your sewing machine. So you now have to end up using a lot of oil, you know, for you to be able to sew. So maybe that's why I don't really do the spreading method much, but it's fine too. I've spreaded it out. So where I feel I'm not okay, I can just add a bit. Okay, remember we're folding over, so that's why we're having this gum. And by the time I fold over, like I'm doubling it, why I'm not putting that thing is, like, see, because it's leather I'm working with. So once I fold over, it's going to be very thick. That's the problem with, you know, using leather direct. So if I was actually making that strap with Ankara, then I'll put that hardboard, you know, to help me fold. Okay. So once I am done with that, I'm going to now I'm going to cut out. Okay, so like I said, I'm just cutting and giving it that allowance that I'm going to use to fold it over. Okay, so cut, give it that allowance. Okay, so I'm going to do this, then the rest I'll do it off camera. I just want to get this done to show you. So once you're able to cut this out, then you're going to fold it. All right, and even after doing this, so that I'll be able to sew, I'm going to skive it because it's actually thick. You know, see this edge? When you get here, please move this first. Okay, and create a corner. So here you're just trying to create a corner that you can cut off. Okay, so that's what I've created at that point. So you just keep folding. Okay, so here as well, you can maybe just give it a little notch to give you that look, the way you want it to be. Like here now is a corner, so because it's a corner, I'm going to see, I'm using my 2 fingers and I'm creating that same thing because I need it to give me that corner, you know. So same here too, I'll just keep sorting all the funny looking corners out, you know. So I need it to give me that look because there's a look to this. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. Just follow what I am doing and you will get it. All right. Okay, so here as well, it's a corner. I'm trying to get my corner. Here, I'll just notch it a bit to relax it and still give me what I want. So this is also a corner. Okay. So everything is with love and patience, right? So once I know that I've gotten everything I want. I will just get off all this. But I'm still going to scrape skive rather this. Sorry, my skiving machine is not here. So, but not everybody, you know, is be able to have skiving machine. So I'll show you. I've used blade to skive for as long as whatever. So, okay. So that's what we have. Can you see that? So when we are putting it on the ring, it's going to stay this way. So this is how we're going to stitch it on our bags. Okay, so I'm going to do what I've done here. Now, if you wanted it to be more thicker than this is what I'm saying, you would have actually we'll just gum this over this. That's just it. Okay, so we'll apply gum it over it. It will also help to, you know, move the edges for it. It won't be this soft. But the issue I have most times with that is it's better when you're using a leather machine. You have this plenty bulk inside it. It's not that it won't sew, it will, but it's a bit. So we'll still try it out and see. But those are the two options you have, please. Okay. So I may gum it and see if the machine sews. But whichever way, the machine will sew over it anyway because I'll skive it. So let me finish everything and come back and show you. Okay guys, so I've put all this together, and in the absence of skiving machine, I'm using my blade, but I'm holding it with something, as you can see. Then I'll fold it a bit, not to the point of breaking, and I'll use it to skive. Now, skiving is just reducing bulk, so that when you're sewing, you know, it's not affecting the sewing machine. So that's just what skiving does. If the skiving machine were here, I would have actually reduced all this bulk using that machine before putting it at this point. But you need to be careful too that when you're skiving, you're not getting too close to the edge so that it won't show. Okay. So that's just what I'm doing. I just want to do this, show you, and then I'll continue the others. So it will just reduce the bulk and doesn't make what you're sewing bulky in any way. You can actually buy a skiving knife also. It's being sold at Motion. But I'm just used to blade anyway. Okay. So that's it. So I've reduced all the bulk around it. So I'm going to do that to all the others. So by the time I close it to sew, it won't be too bulky that it will affect my sewing machine. Okay, see how it's looking. It's already looking lovely. Okay, so let me skive the others and then I'll show you how to put it to the back. Okay. So see the amount of bulk that I have already reduced. I'm just trying to reduce that one. Okay. So that's, I've been able to skive all of it. Okay. So now that we're done with this, so I'll get the remaining 2 rings and I'm going to show you how to fix this. So these are the rings that we're using it with. So like we said, it's a smaller part, you know, that is going in, so you're going to start putting it. Okay. So that's how, see, if you didn't measure it well, it's not going to stay nicely aligned like this. It will squeeze. That was the essence of why I said take that measurement, so that it doesn't squeeze at this point. Okay. So if you put all of them like this, you can just do a little gum. It's in the middle. See, I just did a little. Leave it there so that after you stick it, when you stick it, to stay together and it will allow you to sew. You're sewing on the sides, not the middle. So that gum is at the middle. Okay, so I'll just put that gum, leave it to dry a bit. Apply my gum, leave it to stay, and then the last one. So I will now mark where you want this strap, you know, strap holder, strap, give it whatever name you wish, where you want it to stay on your bag rather, sorry. So first of all, like I usually do, it's always good to find a midpoint. I use notches because I do it very tiny. By the time I sew, I won't notice it, you know? So you can also create, see what I'm doing, just to create a small line to know where I'm working with. That's just it. So this is where, because you're going to be marking on the right side, this is where this silver pen comes in, because it goes off. But for me, I have a tailor's chalk also that goes off. So whichever one I want, I can work with. Okay, so now as soon as I find my middle point, you can now determine how low do you want, as in where do you want your bag handle to start from. It's up to you. You can make it start from here, you can make it start, but take into consideration that you're sewing half an inch off this bag. Okay, so at this point, where are we starting to fix it? You also determine. Normally I use 6, so this is 6. Then it's from here, I'll paste my my strap this way, from here this way, so that will be 6. But first of all, let's determine how low we want it to be. So I want my bag handle at 3, taking into consideration my half an inch allowance, so it's going to be at 3 inches point. Okay, so at that point, I'll now place how wide do I want the straps to stay. Okay, like I had said that I want it at 6 inches, so I'll mark my 6. Okay, I'll still confirm my 3 at that point, and I'll mark my 6. So at that point of 6, I'm going to confirm my 3 inches. So I'm going to have like a cross over it so that I'll see. So if you can't, like I said, I have a chalk. My chalk goes off. Once heat even touches it, it goes off. So you can actually work with your, so let me work with the chalk so that you guys can see. But even if you can't, please just follow what I am saying. So I have come down 3 inches, I have marked. From this way to, I've done 3 inches, I have marked. On this part too, I am coming down 3 inches, I have marked. This way as well, I'm coming 3 inches and I have marked. So that way, when I place my strap, it will be exactly at the same point. That's the essence of all these come here, mark, go there, mark. You know, so that you're not having your strap looking different. So we are placing our strap from here this way, from here this way. So I can also say, okay, from here I'll still mark my 3 inches because that's where my strap point is going to start. Okay, my strap is like 1 inch, so it will fit into this place. So that's it. So you pick the other part of the bag and do the same thing. So find the middle point, just like what we did there. Okay, so find your middle point. From that middle point, first of all, maybe I'm finding my 3 inches. On this side, 3 inches. So from this middle point, take your 6 inches, bringing 3 at the middle. I'm placing my 3 here, you know. So I'm crossing it. I'm also crossing it at 6 inches. So this is where it is, okay? So that is it. So here too, you can just tap a little 3 so that it will still guide you. I have already on this side. So that's just it. So that's what we have as our back point. Now, This I think is, so I'm closing this to show you. So this is what we're going to do now. This thing is what we are going to be placing. That's what I said, depending on where you want to place it. Like me, I can make the bottom of it stay there. Like I said, this is even bulky because I had put that whatever on it. So most times it's difficult to sew this down because of the bulk. That's why at times it's better I use the Ankara, but because of the kind of bag I'm doing, I can't use Ankara here. Alright, so you can put it here, or you can start from here, place the unfold part, this part where you marked the chalk, and this one stays down there. So eventually it is what you want. Or bring this middle point, there's this angle here, put it at that point. But whatever you do, by the time you put this angle here, if you're using the angle, and then this, put it also, make sure my angle is at the same point. Have you seen? I'm having it exactly at the same point. That's just what we are trying to create, so that you're not having one side more than the other side. So now we are going to fix this. So take it to the sewing machine. You can actually just also put a little gum. Like me, where I want to put a gum, it may not really stay down if you don't skive that part. So at times I just skive that part before I place it. So let's say I want to put a gum, I'll just skive it, because like I said, if you don't skive, the gum doesn't soak easily on leather if it's not skived. It works, but it's funny. Okay, so I can just skive it a bit, apply my gum at that point, apply it also somewhere in the center of my leather. Okay, now you know where you want to put it. Like at that angle point is where I'm putting, so I can stick that down. Now it helps you, like, now I wait for it to dry a bit before I do that. It just helps you, so by the time you go to the sewing machine, it is not moving. So I'm going to go to the sewing machine, put it down and stitch it. Please, when you're stitching, you can start from here, follow the shape, come down, and when you get back here, close it up. Don't come here. Stop wherever your machine can allow you. You're just sewing a square around. That's what you're going to do. So that's just basically what I'm going to do. So I'll do that and then I'll come back and show you. So as you can see, I've skived all of the above. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't, so that you'll be seeing more of these step-by-step extensive videos. So I've done that and I put that down. Like I said, it will help you so that when you're stitching is not moving. Okay, so it's the same thing I've done here. I skived, I put it down. It's really going to be a tough one stitching this thing down, but hopefully I'll pull through it. Okay, so I've been able to, this thing is already looking all beautiful. It's not like it's so yellow that I just wonder if you see anything. So that's it. So I'm going to take it to the machine and do this. So once I am done with this, I'm going to do two things before I come back to show you. Okay, so once I stitch this round, I'm going to join this to this. All right, so I'm going to be joining them on the side at 1/2 inch. So I'm going to join here side to side on 1/2 inch and side to side on 1/2 inch. So let me do this, come back and show you. Okay, so I have attached all this. So now that is done, we are now going to join. So you're going to join it on the sides like this. So the same thing you're doing here, try to align all this, so that it stays. All right. So whatever you're doing here is the same thing you're going to do on the lining piece. Okay, that's it. And also align this. So you're going to sew this at half of an inch. So like I said, the same thing you're doing there. So let me just keep that aside. Okay. You're going to do seam to the lining piece. So for the lining piece, I can use my pins. Excuse me. So most times too, you can put gum like on the main fabric, like put gum on the side to hold it. But like I said, I put gum when I'm working with the bag making machine. That's the other bag making industrial machine. But right now, I'm working with the normal straight sewing industrial machine. Why I'm doing that is that I want a lot of people to be able to also use that. So you can even use your the other machine they call Pakam machine or something like that. Sorry, it's the old school machine. You know, you can also use that. So all what you do is change your needle to size 18, size 20. 18 works perfectly well for me with the industrial machine. So that's what I'm using for this. Okay, so let's go stitch at half of an inch and then I'll come back and show you. Okay guys, so I've been able to seal that. Okay, so now we want to create the base. Remember, I don't know, I think we may be using Ankara for the base because I'm out of this. All right, so now remember that what we know is that we want 4 inches as a side, right? But any other thing, sorry, let me see. So like you say, the circumference, you don't know, but the diameter, you know. That's the way it sounds, okay? So what we are going to do is measure the whole bum around the whole down part. So I'm starting here, okay? So gently, with love and patience, take your measurements round. So take it round all the way back to where you started from. Okay. So I'm having 36 and a half. Okay. So in my own case, I have 36 and a half. So now I know that what I want as the side is 4 inches. That's what I want as the width. But the length, you know, I can't determine. So what I did was to take the measurement of all the round circumference, and I'm having 36 and a half, okay? So now we are going to divide that 36 and a half by 4 because we are going to get what we need in a quarter form, okay? So 36 and a half, I brought my tape first to 36 and a half, and I have 18 and a quarter, okay? So I'll bring my tape back to that 18 and a quarter. That will give me my divided by 4, and I have 9.1, okay? So now I have 9.1 if I divide it by 4. So I want to put everything in quarters, in a quarter way. So first of all, I will try to determine a straight line this way, okay? And I'll also try to find a straight line this way. Now this line, I'm drawing it to wherever, okay? So the line goes up to wherever. So what we know is the diameter, which is that what we know is like the width, okay, that we said we are taking 4 inches on the side. So I'll mark my 4 inches here, okay? I'll mark my 4 inches. I'll just keep marking my 4 and also draw a straight line to wherever, okay? So I've still marked my 4 again, okay? So I'll just draw a straight line. So when I say wherever, is because we are going to cut it, you know, before knowing what we are doing anyway. So we've gotten 4 inches and we've gotten this length. Now we said what we did was 36.5 divided by 4. What we have is 9.1. I'm going to measure my 9.1 this way, okay? So this is my 9.1 because I want to share this into 4. So you can also try and make a mark. This divided by is like 2. So in case you want, you know, let's just have a mark at the middle if you choose to. Doesn't really matter. It's just that why I'm doing it is when we are folding it, you know, I would know where I have to fold or something. But let's go on. So I now have 9.1. So I need to mark my 9.1. This is my 9.1. So I'm marking it at different points. And I'll draw a line across. Okay. So remember, how did we get this square? We know the width you're working with on the side when we did our pattern drafting. So if you're doing 3 inches, that means from here to here should be 3. If you're doing 6 inches, that means from here to here should be 6. That is what you know. But how to get the whole circumference is what we don't know. So we now took the whole, measured the whole bag round. I had 36.5, divided by 4 because we are going to put this paper in. We are sharing it in quarters, you know, like that. 2 this way, 2 this way, 2 this way, 2 this way. That's how we are sharing it, so we can get that whole thing round, okay? So having done that, please, you can now extend, if you want to, these 2 inches that we marked, and just extend the line up as well. So now we have this, okay? For us to now get the whole thing, we need to fold this over to get this same side this way. So I need to extend my line because I don't know how far that 9.1 is going to be. Alright, so having done that, you just trim this off so that you can use it. So I'll trim this side to this point. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do, like I was explaining, let me just cut this out, then we now get into real work. So now, like I said, we divided this into 2 and we want to share it into quarters. If we went by what I did now, saying I had 9.1 and you measure from here to here and we fold it over and cut, you're not going to get the right measurement for that thing. That is us. No, I don't know. I'm just trying to, I want to make this as simple as possible. So what we are going to do now is we'll take our tape. We know this quarter, this is half of this 4. This is half of the 4 that we know. So we are going to measure from this half part, this 2. This is 2 and this is 2, giving us 4. From this 2, we are going to start taking our measurement. Okay? So now, if you don't want a square, if you want a square, leave this way and take your measurement. But at times, some people prefer this should be curved, you know, just curve this part a bit. I prefer it that way. It's easier to work with it. So have you seen? So have you seen that curve I've done there? So I just did a curve at that part. So just curve it. You can curve and cut it out. Okay, so when you're now taking this measurement I'm saying you should take, please follow that curve. So I'm following the curve till I have my 9.1. Okay, so I have my 9.1 and I will mark it. All right, so that point I have marked, I'll just place my tape this way and check. So what does that give me? I like to start from that line so that it's easier for me. Okay, so I'll now check what do I have there, and for me I have about 7.45. That's about what I have. Okay, so I'll move the tape to this part and put in the same thing I have here. That is just to only get a straight line. Okay, so once I'm able to, and using my kind of ruler, you don't even need to go through all that. You can just place the ruler and you're sure of your straight line. So this point now is the point we are going to be working with, not this point. So this point, you disregard it. Okay, so I was just trying to show you initially that if we went by this way, just putting your tape here to measure to this point and say 9.1, you will not get it. But we are working in, you know, quarter, like 1 quarter, 1 quarter, 1 quarter, 1 quarter. So our measurement has to start from half of, as in a quarter, not a quarter of which is the other half of that 4 inches. Just follow what I have done and you will get it. So what I did was, first of all, I placed this and got the width that I'm using for this bag, which is 4. So if you were using 6, that means from here to here will be 6 inches to somewhere here. So if you now take the measurement of the whole circumference of the bag, whatever you have, so let's say you had 20, you divide the 20 by 4. Okay, so you're going to be having 5, isn't it? So that 5 that you're going to have, the middle of that 6 will be 3. Start from that middle to take a measurement to get your 5. That's what I have done here. Okay, so once you've done that, you're now going to shape off, please, this part that we curve, because I took my measurement following that curve. But if you're not taking your measurement following the curve, don't bother. So that's what I did. So I've cut that part. So see, this part is curved, this part is straight. All right, so I'm following this. So I started my measurement from this here. So I placed my tape here and took the measurement round to get my 9.1. Okay, then you now do this. So once you do this, you fold over at that point. Naturally, because it's a board, so once you do a pen mark, it will just automatically give you that fold. So you fold over first, all right? And you can draw or you can cut, whatever works for you, okay? So I can do this first, all right? And then trim it off. So folding over just gives me exactly what the other side is. So once you've been able to get this, please fold over this way. I need to make that mark so I can fold, because I need to also trim the other curve to be exactly like. Now when you do this with your pen, it helps you to, you know, fold the line. It just gives you, see, automatically just gives me that fold. So I'm folding it over this way to get exactly the same curve, because I'm looking for exactly the same curve. So once I get that, I'll trim it off. So now I will fold that over again to trim off the remaining part, so that everything is shaped the same way. I don't want one being different from the other. Okay? So this is it. If you take a measurement of this, we're going to have 36 and a half. So let's start. So I'm starting here. I'll just mark my starting point so that I go back there. Okay, so I'll start there. So I have exactly 36 and a half. Okay, so that's just what you're going to do for your base. So what I have done also is take another tape and make a confirmation. Okay, so I do that. I just keep confirming. I just want to be sure that what I have is right, and of course what I have is 9.1. Okay, so we're going to take this, place it on the bag, and I'll show you. Okay, so this is the base of the bag now. I just want us to see now where we did this mark here that we said we are having 2 here and 2 here. It's going to stay here. Okay, going to stay at the middle point, center points of that bag. That's it. So you're going to walk it, right? So just walk it round. So you find out that automatically the point will also stay exactly at this. So that's it. So we now have the base of our bag. If, like I had said, you wanted this side to be wider, it's the same thing. So now we're going to use this and cut out our Ankara fabric and the lining, because we are going to attach it on the lining and also attach it on the fabric. So on the fabric, if you want to make it hard, like I'm still going to iron on this just to give it that strength. So I'll still iron on my interfacing on the base, but for the lining I'm not going to iron anything. And when we are done, I'll now show you how to still use your board and cut your base that we're going to drop inside the bag. It's after dropping that, either we put you can put your bottom cup before that, or you can put your bottom cup when you drop that. I do it whichever way. Okay, but it's just that it's good for the bottom cup to stick to I always like it to stick to a hard surface. So if I don't put that before, I'll have to use paper and show you how to stick it on. Okay, so let me cut this and I'll be right back to show you. Okay guys, so I've cut out the base fabric and lining, then I've cut out the board. So I've cut out the board 1/2 inch less than the main pattern. Okay, so this is 1/2 inch less, so the board is going to stay inside. Okay, so once this is done, you're going to start attaching. So normally I also do a bit of gum, or you pin, because it's just easier to gum it on. So what you do first is find the center point. Okay. So you find the center. You can actually mark it with a chalk. Okay. So you place it and you find the center, because we are going to be working with the center first. Now this is the right side. Okay. So I'm able to, because of what I did, I can find my, like I said, please, you can mark it with chalk so that you know the middle point. So why I did that is so that I can know the middle point. So normally what I normally do is put little gum over it, you know, so that I spread gum round here and round here. It just helps me stick it down so it doesn't move when I'm trying to sew, you know. So I'll just put the gum and I'll show you how to work it. So if you're also working with pin, you can go ahead and do that. Okay, so I've taken my, whatever I'm doing here is the same thing I'm going to do to the pin. All right, so I'm going to centralize it. So where I did the chalk marking is also where I'm going to be placing this. So if you're using pins, just pin it down. Okay, so move to this other side as well. I just love opening up my seam though. So come to this side also and fix the center point. Then you can pin it down. Then now work in all the other points. Once you do that, it's always easy. Like at times I do it at 4 points. I'll mark the middle of this, also mark the middle of this, and then start working it in. So once I catch the 4 points, it's easy to work it in. Okay, so turn it like at this curve. I'm really taking my time to turn the curve round. Okay, so I'm trying to walk round the curve. So at that point of that curve, please just be very, very take your time. Don't be in a hurry. You see, I'm taking my time. I'm not in a hurry. So take your time and walk everything round and pin it here. And so I'll do that to this and do it to the main fabric, and I'm showing you. So this is it. I'm going to now take it to the machine. This is for the lining. Okay, and then our bag is getting ready. So I'm going to stitch this together. You can stitch at a quarter or half, whichever one works for you. So I'll stitch that and bring it back. So once I get that done, then there's something we should have done earlier on to make it easier to create a hole on the board that we're going to put here. We're going to put this board here, so we would have actually marked the spaces and create the hole that we're going to use to put our bottom cup. That is if you want to put a bottom cup. So most times if you don't want to put a bottom cup, you leave it out. If you want to, then we're going to fix it before we drop in the lining. So I'll just show you, how to do that. Okay, so let me go sew, come back and show you. Wow, it's really a step by step. I'm getting excited. Okay, so that's the inside of our tote bag. So can you see this? See, so let me just bring it up so you can see, but that's going to still be inside. Okay? So this is how beautiful the inside looks. Okay, so like I said, that's going to be on the inside. And one thing also, there are two ways we are going to finish this. Either we are going to fold this and stitch on all the way around, or you can open, if you want to sew it on the inside, like so, you have to go in from the side. You have to open up somewhere here and go in, but we're just going to stitch around. It's an easier way of finishing it. So any one is fine. So this is our bag. That's the bump. Okay. So since I sewed at 1/4 inch, you don't need to notch. If I sewed at 1/2 inch, then you still need to notch. Okay. So just want to turn it out, and let's take a good look at this. Our tote bag. Okay. This is taking shape, and I'm loving it. Okay. So that's it. So normally I was supposed to have put the yellow here, but I'm out of my leather. But I still love that so much. So that's our bag. right? Okay. Okay. So if you want to create designs, you can as well create whatever you design you want. What I did here was to have a double stitching, but you can't really see. So if I want to bead this bag, this is the time, that as it's semi-finished now, I can actually sit down and do my beading on the bag, which I may likely do, depends on how I feel or what kind of beads I have available. But like I said, if I need to bead it, this is the time. So like my own bag is big. I really wanted a big bag, so that's it. So now it's time to put the board. I want to see if this board is okay. If it's not okay, I need to, because I think I already made it smaller. But let's see. Okay, because I really need it to fit perfectly in. Okay, so here's the board. I cut the board like I had said earlier. So now I want to paste it inside the bag. So to do that, you have to apply gum. So I've applied gum. You also have to apply gum inside of the bag as well. And inside of the bag is just where, of course, the base that you sewed. So I'm just putting a little, not too much. Okay. So when you do that, you allow it to dry a little. Okay. So let's allow it dry a bit, and then we are going to mark a place for the bottom cup. Okay. So I'm now going to open the bag and I'm going to put this inside. So just try and let it lay. So that's what I'm trying to do now. So to give it that. So it's when you put this, then you can now put in your lining. So at this point too, if you desire to put in your bottom cup, okay, this is when you can put it in. So this is what it does. So it just gives it that base to sit. Okay, so now if you want to put in your bottom cup, okay, you can now take your measurement. So mine, I'm just putting in 2. So from here to here, you try to find what you have. I think I have 14 and a half. So I'll divide that by 2, and that is 7. That's about 7 and a quarter. So maybe that's just to guide me on where to put my foot. But then I can always say, okay, from here I want to come in from the edge here. I'll come in at 3. All right, from here to, I'll come in by 3. So that's where I want my bottom cup to be. All right, so from here I would like to centralize it. So here I'll check what I have, and I'm having almost, I've sewed off, so it was 4 initially, and I've sewed off something. So I'm having like 3 3/4. Okay, so I'll divide that into 2, find where it stops, and I'll mark it. All right, I'll do same thing here, find where it stops, and I'll mark it. So that is where my bottom cup is going to sit. So it's going to sit at these 2 positions. Now what you do, I can't do it on camera because I have to take it down to do it, so I have to use this, you know. I'll put the wood inside this way, I'll turn it this way, I'll place this here, I'll use my hammer and hit it as hard as I can to give it a hole. So I'm going to do that and then come back and show you. So I've done that. I don't know if you can, have you seen that hole there? Okay, so that's the hole there. So once you've been able to get that, now that hole also comes out on my board on the inside, so I'll just fit this and open it up. Okay, so most times I prefer also to cut a board and, you know, create a hole. Like before I did that, I would have actually had a board on the inside, but if I don't do that, I'll cut a board and paste on it so that it does not stay loose. Okay, so when you put it inside, of course when you see the bottom cup, you know how it works. So I'm going to cut a hard board, I'll place it to gum it down, and then we're going to put in our lining. So I'm done with that, and that is what the inside looks like, you know, with the board in it. All right, so the next step is to put this in. So you just fit this in. So like I said, if you want to seal this mouth, you know, like when you turn it, you don't see, you're going to open, you have to start doing a squeezing thing with this bag. But what we normally do, you know, is that you're going to fold this over. Okay, so you fold the main fabric at 1/4 of an inch or half, fold this lining as well, put it together, and you're going to stitch it all round. So that's what I'm going to do now. Fold the main fabric at the top, fold the lining fabric, put it together, and then stitch it all the way round, and our bag is as good as ready except for the handle. So I'm going to do that now and show you. Okay guys, so I've pinned, I've clipped round. So I'm going to go and sew at the edge all round, and then I'll bring it back and show you. Okay guys, so I'm done. So I've stitched that down. So you can see our outside and you can see our inside. Okay, so let me just arrange that. So that's what the inside looks like. So you can actually keep as many things as possible in it. So at this point, first of all, I can now put back my zip head because I had taken it off to give me that free access to do what I was doing. So I can put it back at this time, and then we are going to create our handle. Okay, so the next thing is for you to measure how long. Remember that the chain is here. So, and remember that this is going to come in this way, right? And you're going to sew it back here. So once you have all that in mind, decide how long, you know, you want your handle to be. So we're going to use this belt to create the handle. So either you're going to use Ankara, whatever you want to use, but this is what we're going to use. Okay, so having known this, we can now check what do we have between here and here, knowing that the belt we are using stops somewhere here. So you can actually mark it. You know, just make a mark so that when you remove it, you can use the other part, or you can take a measurement. I'm trying to actually find where my tape is. So you can measure what you have here, right? So I have about 2 inches, and know that from here I'm going to be adding about 2 inches. So you can cut your tape, your belt at this point. That is if you decide that this is how you know, the bag handle is going to be. It's a choice, so please decide what you want. So once you've made that decision, you're going to cut it in two. Okay. So that's all I need for my bag handle. So the next thing we are going to do is you can cover this up and place it here and sew it. So we'll do that now. Okay, so I am now doing the strap. I have put it on the fabric, so I'm just spreading the gum on the belt, and so spread a little to also enter the fabric. Okay. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just spreading the gum on both the belt and the fabric. Okay, so that's it. So I've done it for the two. So once you're done, you can trim off maybe at a quarter or half. Whatever suits you. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to trim it off and I'll show you what next. Okay, so you're going to fold the sides over just like I'm doing now. Okay, so just fold it over. Okay, so once you're done folding over, you're going to take it to the machine and put it this way, and you're going to sew it. But before you sew it, mark out. Remember that we are folding a part of it over this way, over the ring, so you can check how much you want to fold over. So this is 3 inches, so I'm going to mark 3 inches all round it. So that stitch I want to make that I'm holding like this to stitch at the edge, please don't stitch here, stitch at 3, because we're going to fold this over. I may likely fold mine more than 3, so like I said, because already where you're marking, you're folding, this is what the mark I did. So if I fold over, that's another 3 inches, so that means it is going to be somewhere here, right? So start your stitches from that place and end it at the same place this way. So I'll do that and bring it and show you. Okay, so this is it. So you see, I've done this, I've left this open. This is where I'm feeding in. And please don't forget, when you're making yours, you know, I forgot, you're supposed to turn this, neaten this edge, right? You're meant to neaten their edge, you know, before, so that it's, you know, in case it's going to be seen, although mine is going to be on the inside. All right, so having done that, you can now pick your bag, right? Check how you're going to keep, see how it's going to stay, right? So once you know that, feed in your strap. Okay, so once you feed that in, you bring it to the back. Okay, so you bring it to the back. I've brought it to the back, and then you're going to put it in a way that, like the way it's staying now, I'm going to go to my sewing machine and I'm going to stitch it. You can stitch in a square form, however it can reach, you know, wherever it reaches, that's where you're going to sew it down. So you're going to do this. So I'm also doing the same thing here, put it in. So do it for all sides. So once you're done with this, then we're done. Okay, so I'm going to go see what I'm doing. Bring it, tuck it in, go to your machine, and you're going to stitch it around. So I'll do that now and I'll bring it and show you. Okay guys, so this is it. Remember the bottom cup, that's it there. Okay, and this is the finished bag. All right, so this is what our handle looks like. You have the chain. Look at that. So we finally finished our bag. All right, so these are TOTE bag, and it's looking all pretty and beautiful. So you can actually make this, you know, to go with your outfit, right? You can make it make the shape smaller than mine. Like I said, I'm not a fan of very small bags, you know, but yours can be to your liking. And then the handle doesn't have to be chained, it can stay, you know, on the bag, if you want it to just come from the bag. All right, so that's it, that's it, that's it, and it's all beautiful. Okay, so make yours and let me see. And if there's any kind of bag you'd like me to make, you know, so you could just let me know in the comment section, and you know, I'll do that. And where you're not cleared, just drop a comment for me, and I will actually definitely answer your question. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, well, for those that have subscribed, thank you, thank you, thank you. I truly appreciate it. Like I said, I'm bringing more bags, I'm bringing crafts, clothes, everything everything, don't mind me. Anyway, I'm going to be bringing more things on this channel, and I hope you will actually enjoy it. And apart from enjoying it, find time to also do it. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do, thank you. Just subscribe and put on your notification bell, so that when I upload videos like this, you know, you get a notification that I've done that. Okay, like I said, and I always say in my videos, you must have done this already, or you know this. No knowledge is lost, we learn every day. Okay, so see this as an added advantage to what you know. That's what matters, you know. So you can pick something from here and add on to that thing that you already know. All right, that's the essence of learning every day. So it's been a Markadel online training, and I remain Nita, your physical and online instructor. It's been nice having you here, and I'll be seeing you in our next pattern drafting and cutting session soon. So have you a very blessed and wonderful time. Bye.